That one is just absolutely beautiful. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Thank you for joining in tonight for another episode of Ghost Cats and Cryptids. I'll say hi to everybody on the side here. And B Mo was the first one in. It's good to see you. And then we had Kurt W. Kurt W is in the house. Wojo. Boom. Make sure you tune in Tuesday nights to Wojo Show, home of the boom. Let's see. We had the lowdown. Jared, good to see you. I've been trying to keep track, but I lose track very easily on stuff. Curious is in the house. Good to see you. I'm so glad you took some time. I know it's really late for you there. I'm looking forward to next Sunday. We're collaborating. Keep an eye out though, because it could be a special time. I do want to try to work around the time change there and the time difference and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Because last night Richie was poking fun of the fact that my show is usually only an hour, maybe 59 minutes, I think is what he said, because I need to be to bed. That's not it. I like to talk, but I don't like to tie people up, especially on Sundays, because I know that it's family time and stuff. But I'm really happy you guys are all here. Rhonda, good to see you. Ernie's in the house. Thank you, Ernie Davio. We have JT and Aya. I don't know how to say the rest of that. I'm so sorry. Good to see you. And see, we have, yeah, I think I got everybody, BDA and everybody. So, oh, Dane, nice to see you. So yeah, tonight I decided, since we've been having issues with me pulling up photos and stuff, everything freezes on me a lot, and sometimes I get kicked out, and then you guys are kind of waiting for me to get back. Donna's a night owl. Donna's a night owl. I know. And I'm so appreciative for her agreeing to collaborate with me on the show. It's going to be good. Be asleep at my desk tomorrow. I wish I could. I run a store, and yeah, I'm always, I swear to God, I'm always there. Sundays is my only day, so it's kind of nice to get a break. But yeah, so tonight I decided that I would kind of do a fun show. I mean, I've done my first show was kind of an introduction on how I got into this and stuff, and why I do what I do. But I thought tonight I would go back to the beginning. Hey, Sergio, good to see you. Welcome. And I thought I would go back to what actually inspired me to do that, because there's a lot of inspirations when I was a child. I know that everybody knows that I have seen. Okay, don't understand that at all. Sorry, that is just, I don't know. But everybody knows that I saw the Sasquatch Legend of Bigfoot. I don't know what this is, Sergio, so that's just different. Hey, Denny, how are you? Good to see you. I'm going to put a caption up here. But there's other inspirations to it too. I have talked about before how, when I was a child, the reason that I love animals as much as I do is I give all the credit in the world to Dan Haggerty. And I will tell you right now, I am still a big kid at heart. I had a friend who was actually able to find this. So I actually have this in my research room. It is a Grizzly Adams lunch pail with Dan Haggerty and Ben on the front. We have number 7 on the back. And I love this because there is actually a cougar in the barrel on the side of the cabin. I just, okay. So I decided that, let's just talk about some of the inspirations, and hopefully it has other people bringing up, what they found inspiring, going into all of that. For me, it was a lot of it had to do with Dan Haggerty, the actor who played Grizzly Adams. I love the show. I loved how he had the respect of the animals. He didn't try to own anything. It was really more of just learning to live off the land and showing respect, which we've tried to do that with the research that we do. That's what we are all about, is the respect and not abusing, earth or the animals or whatever is around you. A lot of times there's so much destruction in the world. It's nice to see something that's not. And the thing that got me though was when I got old enough and I realized that, this was actually based on, a real person, born in the 1800s. His name was John Captain Adams, and he was born in Midway, Massachusetts. But he was a shoe salesman. He was not somebody who was, accused of a murder he didn't commit and hiding away. He hit financial hard times and chose to abandon his family, and head back to California, where he decided to pick up the mountain man life. But what he did was he captured and he trained animals. And yeah, that show was it. I actually have the entire series. I still watch it. I absolutely love it. But he actually captured and he trained the animals, but it wasn't a nice way. He did it sometimes very brutally, which is not the way that, the show depicted it, which I'm glad by, because he was not, from what I understand, a very nice man. But I was happy with the childhood that I had that depicted him as, the way that Dan Haggerty played the character and stuff. And it also got me, used to, just knowing that their animals are out there. They're not always pleasant. There are predators, but it's a whole thing on respect. Yeah, the show Grizzly Adams was a much better story, BMO. But and so doing that, I most people know I've been very open. When I was a child, I was like scared of everything because my mom's favorite thing to do was watch horror movies, and mainly it wasn't like the first Halloween or anything. It was she always watched like animal ones. So watching Grizzly Adams and getting that love and respect was good because I literally didn't like being out in the woods by myself when I was a child. I did not like I was scared of the dark. Nowadays, I'm out at night in the dark by myself. It doesn't faze me. I'm out in the woods by myself. But a lot of it, like I said, has to do with, you get older and you understand. But as a child, most kids grow up and, boys want to be astronauts. Hey, Z Sun Dragon, good to see you. And I, of course, because a lot did when they were younger, want to be a marine biologist. And that had a lot to do with Jacques Cousteau. I loved watching his shows. I loved watching what he was doing in the ocean. And he was a big part of growing up and seeing all this wonder that was going on and the discoveries that were being made. And along with that came Eugenie Clark, because she did the same thing. I mean, she was the shark lady. And I still do have a major love and respect for great whites. They are my favorite sharks. I love watching. I love going on the ocean. I can't remember the name of the thing now. I want to say Ocean O page, but it will track the great whites along the eastern coastline, because I have said for years that they were off the coast of Maine, and was told that no, they're not. And now all of a sudden, guess what? They're all over the place out there and stuff. So Eugenie Clark, she would discover new species. She actually invented the first shark repellent. She was the one that liked to kind of disprove myths about sharks, like with the open water sharks. There's a theory that they have to keep moving. If they don't, they'll drown. And her, along with Jacques Cousteau, doing the documentary on it, proved that there was some caves in the Yucatan where there was black tip reef sharks that were in a cave underwater, several feet down, and the current that was going through, it was so much oxygen in it and stuff that they were able to it looked like they were sleeping. It was a sleeping sharks, and it was just so amazing that for that discovery, and how she kind of put herself out there, because I mean, back then it was kind of a male dominated thing. I'm scared to death. See, I'm not scared to death of the ocean. Yeah, and I thought it was great because my son, I homeschooled him in high school, and he had a fascination with marine biology. So one of his science classes that he did one year was all on marine biology. I actually talked to one of the local Marine Patrol officers, and we got him set up to volunteer at the aquarium in Booth Bay. So he got to do that for a while, and he was cleaning out tanks that they had, like sharks, the dogfish is what they are. But and so in the marine biology science book that I got him, it actually had a segment where it talked about Jacques Cousteau, which was like, yay, because now you get to kind of understand what I was going through when I was a child, and being able to see this and understand this. And he thought it was very cool that him and a friend of his were the ones who actually invented the first underwater breathing aspirator. And he was like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, he did some amazing things, and it was just great. I love the ocean. There's so much still there. But we also found out in my childhood, and this is the sad part, because watching Jacques Cousteau, the one thing that I wanted to do when I got old enough was to learn to scuba dive, so that I could actually to go out on some of these trips and stuff. But because of Jacques Cousteau and Eugenie Clark, my dream was always to swim with great whites and not in a cage. The issue that we found out when I was about 7 or 8 is I have a major seafood saltwater allergy. Like if I go into saltwater, I break out in a nasty blotches of hives, and I ended up hospitalized from it. So I said the one thing that I would have to do if I ever was able to live out this dream was, and everybody laughs at me, but I say this all the time, I would need a Scooby-Doo dive suit. If you remember the old Scooby-Doo cartoon, I mean, it went over the head. There was like no skin at all that you could see. And that would be about the only way that I would be able to do it. And I'd probably weigh a ton, and I would end up sinking, and it wouldn't work in my favor. I'd always be all cold to swim out as far as I can. Yeah. Oh, wow. That is crazy. You just have this, wow. It always feels like, yeah. So I do go on boats though and stuff. I'm very careful with not getting anywhere, which sucks because where I grew up, I mean, the ocean's right there. It was one of those awful things that you end up finding out. Bubble Gene. Yeah. I would have to be a Bubble Gene, Scooby-Doo. I do. I need a Scooby-Doo dive suit, a submergible. Yeah, that would work too. It's just, yeah. I remember watching Jacques' grandson swimming with great whites a while back, and he did it without a cage. That was a lot further on down the years, but he did have like uh kind of like a, I wouldn't say a stick, but it was like a little poker thing. So when he was with the sharks, if they got too close, you poke them. And everybody was laughing at that. And I said, if you ever realize with great whites, when they attack like seals and stuff, they bite, they release, they bite, they release, and then they go back, because you'll see on their noses and the front part of their, I want to call them snouts, but um, when they do bite down, if they don't release, seals will scratch and bite and tear. So that's why they, a lot of times they have the scars and stuff that they have. And they are very sensitive there. So it's like he was poking them, and I was like, okay, well, I just need to make sure I have a pokey thing. But yeah, um, my son growing up though, he discovered the whole great white shark stuff too, but his was through Jaws, because that was a movie that I absolutely loved watching. And when he was in kindergarten, they did home visits at the time, and one of the woman that was coming to do it was like, okay, well, what's his favorite movie? And I said, I don't really want to tell you, because he's 4, and I'm going to be a bad mom here. And they were like, no, what's his favorite? And I said, Jaws. And they were like, oh my gosh, you let your son watch Jaws? And I said, I would rather have my son watch something that's not real than have him watch a half hour. At the time, it was National Geographic that did all the stuff, of a half-hour special on sharks, because it was more bloodier and it was a lot worse than the entire Jaws movie itself. So yeah, I said I did. I mean, I tried when I was younger, but he wasn't scared of anything, which is great. I was scared of everything. He wasn't. He was able to comprehend, what's movie and what's real. So I didn't stop him from doing it. But as he got older and, he got out of high school, but then along comes my next inspiration. And I'm actually wearing the shirt, because the shirt was the zoo was established the same year I was born, which I thought was kind of funny. And that would be good old Steve Irwin. I loved The Crocodile Hunter. His enthusiasm, his compassion, and him just wanting to show people that, all these animals out there that people are scared of, they're not monsters. You just have to understand them and respect them. And I had so much admiration for his whole sense of being. Hey, Mickey, how are you? Good to see you. And I found him to be a true inspiration. And so even when, I'm still looking into like the Bigfoot stuff and people laugh and everything, I would always think though, there are people out there that are doing stuff. And yes, these animals exist, or, whatever, but there's a passion to it, and they have a passion that drives them. And you just have to dig deep. And the passion that I had for, continuing the research with Bigfoot and doing the stuff that I was doing was just because of people, that were inspirations to me: Jock, Eugenie, and Steve. And being able to introduce them to my children and try to get what they're saying and what I'm saying, about trying to respect, the environment, respect Mother Earth, respect the animals that are on it. Yeah, he was a treasure. I cried and cried and cried the day I found out that man died. It was awful. I cried so hard. I think I cried for days, because to me, he was a treasure. The world lost a really, really special person that day. And the one thing I can say though, with Steve is, when he passed, it's very tragic, but he went out doing what he loves to do. And you can't ask for more than that. I did find, because I always liked Terry too. The two of them, I mean, I've been through her, all the, how they met, and stuff. But what surprised me And Terry is a hero to me too. As Terry grew up in Oregon, okay, and she worked at her family business way before she met Steve. They had a lumber company. She in 1986 decided to open Cougar Country, which was a predator rehabilitation center where she rehabilitated cougars, wolves, and bears. And I'm like finding this stuff out, and I was just floored. And to see her with, because she had one that she did have for a while, Molina, the cougar, walking her, on a leash. There's pictures of the two of them together, but she had a love and a respect for animals, and she did this. And when you look into it, the woman didn't have a degree on this. Okay, she didn't have any special degree. She did this because she was passionate about this, and it is just incredible. And then for her to go out, because she did go out to the Australian Zoo for it was some type of conference and stuff, and to meet Steve, and for the two of them to connect the way they have, um, and continue the work together was just amazing. And with his passing, she picked up the torch and she kept it going. The woman is utterly incredibly she's just amazing in herself, and yes, their kids are great. I mean, she's done just a wonderful job and stuff, and a lot of people give her, a lot of grief, and there's a lot of questions on, "Well, why don't you start dating again?" and stuff, and she's very adamant about it. Steve was the love of her life. She had her soulmate. He's gone, she's continuing his work, and she has no intention, she just doesn't want to. Um, she's happy being at the zoo with her family, her granddaughter. I mean, they're all keeping Steve's work alive and well. I mean, when the place opened, it opened on 2 acres. When his parents opened the Australian Zoo, it was on 2 acres of land. Now it's on 300. They have done an amazing job. They still do all the conservation work. They travel all over the place to get the word out, and help with other types of animal organizations to raise money. And it's one of those things is you don't have to, and Terry said this, and I agree wholeheartedly, you don't have to put money into it. Just do little things. And that's what I like. It's like you just have to do little things, just change little baby steps, and everything will be fine. And I mean, Mother Earth will treat you the way that you treat her. And I think that's a great message, because there's so much, the population keeps getting bigger and bigger, and there's so much area that is being torn down to build homes or complexes and everything else, that animals are being driven out. And hey, Sam, good to see you. And TM, I'm sorry if I missed you. I'm running my mouth and get going. And but that's why I just figured, I would do a show on inspirations. And these people did. They inspired me. They still do. Inspire me. And I hope that, because I mean, I don't have any fancy degree either, and I'm nobody special. I'm just a girl from mid coast Maine, but I have a passion. I have a voice, and I try to inspire others to come forward to, like with their sightings with mountain lions, or, with whatever they want to do. I mean, I had a job when I was at the ICM. We'd have young kids come in. I don't know how many times that I would actually, like, one little girl had an interest in the Loch Ness Monster. We had these magazines that were from like back in the day, and they were only about like this thick. And I would actually just purchase it and say, here, start your research this way. And you'd see the kids' faces light up, and it was amazing, because they're the future. They're the future of this the future generation that's going to continue to either thrive or not. And I would hope that I can inspire them to keep doing what they love, to keep researching what they love, and to, learn to respect what's around them. And that's all I'm, trying to do. So I hope that it, you know, it helps at times and stuff. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Good to see you. Um, because it's like I posted on the Ghost Cats and Cryptids page. Curious was like, I love this. A friend of mine took a picture a while back, and I used it as my profile. I was out with him, and we had stopped at a very large pond. It was in the fall. The colors in the background are nice, but I'm staying out there taking pictures. The wind is just whipping by and stuff, and I look like a big old mess. But he took this picture, and I absolutely loved it because that is me. I'm not prim and proper. Oh my God, you met Steve? BMO, I am so jealous. Oh my gosh, BMO, I am so jealous. ah. Yeah, and so, I look like a big mess. Well, I've been going back and forth with Sam, our amazing executive producer. I've been creating my own thumbnails for my shows lately, at least trying. It seems to be working out, but I was like, "All right, you have created some stuff, and I need some help with this." And she goes, "Go to GPT chat." She goes, and it can help you with that and stuff. I'm not much for AI, but I was like, I do um, want to see what I can try to create and stuff. And the last one that I did, I used the picture of my little brother Adam. I call him my brother from another mother and father. Um, he took it, like I said, I look like a mess, a big mess and stuff. But it was one of those that this is me. This is who I am. I love being out in nature. I love just being able to, research and stuff. So I popped that in, and I didn't have to, I had to tweak two things. The thing did it on its own. It came up with everything in the photo, except it called me an ecology, what was it? An ecology educator. And I'm like, no, I'd prefer to be a conservation educator. So I fixed that, and it said a fox lover. And I said, no, I'm an animal lover. But those two little things was all I had to fix on it. And I have gotten so many um, people telling me how much they love it, but it is me, and I absolutely love that photo. I do. I mean, it is. Hey, Jason, how are you? Good to see you. Crikey. I know. I guess it's just amazing. Um, Steve was one of a kind. I love the fact that when my daughter was born, when most of you have seen my daughter, she's been on, she popped into Richie's birthday last year and stuff, and she's popped in here now and then. But when she was a baby, that's what we do is we would turn on DirecTV. We would lay on the couch together. She was 2 years old, and we'd watch hours of, the Crocodile Hunter just because. And yeah, Steve, like I said, was one of a kind. It was tragic that he left so soon, but he left doing what he loves to do, and he has opened up the world, people's eyes to these animals and the world, and changed it. So I mean, I've got nothing but the utmost respect for the man and his family. The kids are continuing on the work. Robert is quite a bit like his father. He's quite a bit like his father, and he does take the questions pretty well too. I mean, he gets a lot of strange questions, but he handles everything very gracefully. So, um, but yeah. So, and then as I got older, okay, I've got Steve, I've got all this stuff, but um, I have to say, if it wasn't for my husband telling me, do this, go for it, you can do this, I probably wouldn't. And my kids, my son is right into the whole cryptid thing. He's more of a paranormal person though, which I told him he could keep doing that because that's not me. I'm not into any of that stuff. I do have a lot of friends that research it. I respect them. I just tell them that, I don't want anything that can follow me home and torture me for the rest of my life. That's fine. I'd rather deal with the animals. And the way I say it, if I get ripped to shreds, it's on me. But I try my best not to. But yeah, my family is amazing. It's great because my husband does. My mom, when she was alive, thought that her words to me with this whole thing was, I must have bats in my belfry. She thought I was crazy. But I have never been a conventional girly girl. I have been always been more of a tomboy. Always kind of done things my way. Even though I was quiet and shy, I still did things my way. Growing up, like I said, when you're little, you want to be a marine biologist. Well, I decided when I was about 10 years old, you know what? I want to drive a truck, a big rig. And when I hit high school, it took my freshman year signing up, my sophomore year signing up, my junior year to verify that I actually got signed up for it, because girls didn't do that stuff, but I didn't care. And I took truck driving my senior year of high school and got my Class A license. So I'm just, I'm not one of those people that just kind of sits back and gets told that, this is the way you should be. Because my mom did. She was always like, you should be a nurse. You should be this. And her thing was mainly a nurse. And my thing is I don't like the sight of blood, especially my own. So how would I even possibly become a nurse? All my animals stuffed. Well, I've got my buddy back here, right there, Dobby. But that's the only one that I've got. So, but I want to be a dragon. So I kind of went vice versa. You would have thought when you were 10, you wanted to be a dragon. Um, Yeah, no, it does. I think it's cute with kids, because like I said, I want to be a marine biologist, which I still would have loved to have done. And then, I find out that, guess what? You can't do that. I couldn't be a nurse. There's no way. No, I don't. I don't like the sight of blood, which is weird because, I won't watch hospital shows, but I don't mind shows like Criminal Minds and CSI and all that stuff. That stuff never bothers me. And I was kind of like, that seems so wrong. But that's why I always tell everybody to don't screw with me, because I've watched too many crime drama shows and I do know how to dispose of a body and get away with it. Yeah, 90s was the X-Files. Yep. I love the X-Files. That Skinwalker one, though, with a werewolf or whatever, the Native American one, that one scared the shit out of me. Adam, yay, you're here. I was actually just talking about you, and thanking you so much for that picture you took when we were out last year when I did the historically haunted tour there, and we stopped at the pond and you took that picture of me, because that was like the best picture ever. I look like a big mess, but it's me in my element. And yeah, I was actually able to create something different. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff nowadays that's not. I mean, because people keep going, well, your job's kind of rough. You're like there 6 days a week and you're kind of like there, constantly. Maybe you should, the school's looking for something. You could, yeah, I can't do that. Sorry. There's just too many changes and stuff nowadays. And I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like I said, um, it's hard, but everything nowadays has changed so much. It's insane. But with the inspirations of my family and stuff, and being able to do the stuff that I was doing, and then continuing on with my research, Scully and Mulder. Heck yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that was a great show. My husband has most of the series on that. What got me though is I'm not into paranormal, but I don't know if anybody was. Yeah, I'm excited to be part of the main paranormal and horror convention this year. I'm going to be a vendor, but Adam's going to be there, and I have friends that are going to be there that are going to be talking. I can't wait to finally meet Chris Julian face to face. I've only talked to him via Messenger. He is one that supports the heck out of me too, just like Adam does. Anytime he sees a mountain lion report, he's always on Messenger or tagging me into the posts and stuff. And you guys are great. I have such a great network of friends now. It's amazing. Octopus, hey, how are you? Good to see you. And yeah, and with being able to do that, I've met some incredible people that have inspired me. The first person that I did research on his property when he asked me to come up, Mr. Seeger. I've talked about him numerous times. I showed pictures of different things that we had found on his property and around his property that's in the area. It was like a general research area for me. I spent a lot of time there. I was actually able to cast several tracks. We found a handprint up on the mountain not far from him and stuff. But he was one who inspired, because he felt like every time he brought it up to somebody, he felt like he was being alienated. People thought he was crazy. He was this loony old guy and stuff. And to be able to go to his property to check out the stuff and see that he actually had some legitimate stuff happening and everything, and being able to explain that to him, and him looking at me going, this is amazing. Thank you so much, because now I don't feel like I'm absolutely crazy. He goes, that's all I was ever hearing was you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. And I spent a good 6 years going up there several times to check out the areas and stuff. I did expeditions, solo expeditions in the area. I had set up with another person who I considered a friend. I actually set up 2 expeditions for him. He's out of state, but he's East Coast, and he had asked me to set up 2. The first one he skipped out on, and then the second one, a week before it was supposed to happen, he changed his mind and said, I think I'd rather go this way. Why don't we go over here? And I said, you do what you want, but I've already made a commitment and I'm not backing out. And I continue to do it. Chilling this weekend. Kids are with my mom. Hey, Kelly, how are you? Good to see you. And you know, it's just the amount of people that I have support from now. It's really nice. I mean, I had shared a while back that I had this list. There's 2. This is the first list that I got, and this I got from, and it has his name right on it on the top, Richard Brown. I was introduced to him through a friend of mine who said, you really need to talk to this gentleman if you are into if you're into researching mountain lions in Maine. He said, because this was from the it was actually from the database for Maine Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. And by meeting him and sitting down and talking to him, I went there several times to Sydney, and he'd show me areas where there had been sightings. We investigated. I showed last week, or not last week, might have been the week before, the big cat prints that I'd found, and I had the sticks around them. It was him. I was with him, and it was one of the areas that he was showing me where we found these. And he got me into contact with other people. He ended up having people, if they had sightings, they used to reach out to him. I had people start reaching out to me. And it was just, he was an inspiration, because he had done a lot, though. I mean, this man, he was showing me pictures. He was friends with Evel Knievel. You know, he knew the Warrens. He knew, you know, so many people. He had such connections with, you know, the paranormal and with cryptids and stuff, but he stuck to his guns. He got a lot of crap, just like most of us do. He stuck to his guns, and he just, you know, decided people are going to say what they want. He doesn't care. He just wanted to be able to share his knowledge of stuff with people who had the same interests and stuff. And he shared a lot of his wealth and his knowledge, not his wealth, his wealth of knowledge with me on the topics of Bigfoot and with the mountain lions and stuff. I was sad when he passed, but I'm thankful for the time that I got to sit down and just learn from him. Do you know anything interesting about that island with the huge spiders? Something? No, I do not. I will have to look into that and make sure that I avoid that because I am, yeah, I have a spider phobia. And that is one thing though, is there is a lot of reports. Carl Schuker does in the South. I'm not sure exactly which states, but there's reports of big ass freaking spiders. Um, and I actually like that movie, Big Ass Spider, but that's because it doesn't look like a really real spider. It does at first, and that freaked me out. But once it got bigger, I thought the movie was hilarious. If you've never checked that out, um, yeah, spiders as big as your hands. Yeah, they're usually the ones that you'll find down in South America because the biggest ones are the Goliath bird eaters. But Australia actually has their daddy long legs is I think a huntsman spider, which is supposed to be harmless, and that is as big as a dinner plate. That thing is massive. I have seen videos of those in somebody's car, and I was like, I would wreck my car in a heartbeat the second I saw that damn spider come out. I don't care if it's harmless or not. You would like to find them, but okay. You would like to find them. Well, you go right ahead. And no, I haven't seen that from the south. I mean, yeah, I'm out too. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was my son. Like I said, he likes anything that's different. And I remember when he was 12, I was pregnant at the time with my daughter, and he wanted to see the movie Eight Legged Freaks. And I'm like, nope, nope, nope. I cannot do this. I cannot do this. My husband's like, yeah, you can. We're gonna go. And so I'm sitting there. Yeah. You've seen the giant spiders? See them? Because I mean, there's like been reports of like ginormous freaking spiders down south. I mean, ginormous, and it's like not cool, not cool at all. Um, I'll stick up here where we don't have to worry about that. I mean, we have wolf spiders and stuff, but I still stay away from them. No. um, so yeah, so here I am at the movie theater. I'm probably let's see, 7 months pregnant at the time, and here my husband and my son are watching this movie, and I'm sitting there, and every time something I know that they're going to show one, I look down. My husband's like, "Oh my god, this movie is great, man! They made these things really realistic." Like, and I'm like, "I don't care." And then there's scenes where you got people in the theater laughing their butts off. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not watching it. So most of the time I spent the movie just staring at my husband's shoulder. You're in mass. Oh, cool. Yeah, it depends on the spider too. Yeah, that movie TM was just off. I mean, I guess it was funny, but I'm not a spider person. And then when it was over with, everybody was like, "Oh, it was so good." And I'm like, "You guys are idiots, okay? You got trapdoor spiders. They didn't freaking move, okay? They weren't in the caves. They weren't in the caverns. They're not all dead. Stop being dumb." And that's why it's like I've taken tests before too on, little social media tests there on could you survive a horror movie? Hell yes, I can. I'm not stupid, okay? I'm not gonna run back here or, hide here where, hello. And I sure as the hell ain't gonna hear a noise and start walking up to somebody going, hello. I'm just gonna go in the other direction. Just, I'm not gonna work that way. So we're gonna move on here. We get done talking about Richard, and yeah, the spider thing. Yeah, I've seen pictures. We do have some huge. Yeah, wolf spiders are big. They are. And the worst part is I probably wouldn't be afraid of spiders. It's my mom's fault, um, and that's because I was like 5, and I am. Yeah, never answer the door. I was laying in bed, and she come in to get me up in the morning for breakfast and stuff. and there was a spider crawling on my blanket, and I started to freak out, and she was like, "Oh, no, honey, don't freak out." She crawls under the blanket with me. She lays there, and the spider's walking towards my face, and she's like, "It's not gonna hurt you. Just leave the spider alone. It's fine. See, I'm right here with you. You're gonna see the spider's not gonna hurt you. There's nothing to be scared of." And she did not realize that that spider had an egg sac behind it. So within 10 seconds, that thing burst, and I have baby spiders all over the blanket. She jumps up screaming. She's fucking wrapping the blanket up in a ball and throwing it out the door. And yeah, after that, terrified. Absolutely terrified. And then, like I said, it didn't help. She watched horror movies, so I watched Kingdom of the Spiders. I will not sit in a pickup truck, okay, like a little Ford Ranger pickup truck. No, I'm sorry. I got to have a car because that movie has just killed me from ever sitting back in a seat, seat belted in, having spiders crawl. It's just, no, sorry. It's like not going to happen. But anywho, enough about my phobias and fears that I'm spreading off onto everybody else in the chat. Yeah, the tarantulas, I will say, they usually don't freak me out as bad because those things are huge and I can see them coming. So I can scoot in the other direction. What freaked me out the most though is because I did not know this at the time and now I do know it. And thanks to Meatloaf, I know it even more so now. The singer, because he had it in his book. But my son, when he was little, he always wanted a tarantula. Mom, I want a tarantula. Nope, nope, nope. His uncles were living out in Arizona for a little while, and he was on the phone with his Uncle Ivor. He was probably 7 or 8 at the time. And Ivor says, I'm going to be back for your birthday. What would you like? And he said, I want a tarantula. I was like, okay, I'll bring you back a tarantula. And I'm like, no, you won't. He's like, yes, I will. I'll bring him. No, you won't. And so I took the phone away from my son and I said, you're not going to get him a freaking tarantula for his birthday. And he's like, why not? And I said, because he's 7. I said, he's not going to keep it in a terrarium. He's going to want to play with it. He's going to let it loose. I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night with this thing on my chest and I'm going to die of a heart attack and you get to raise my kid. Meatloaf, the singer, he had a book out about his life, and when he was a child, because he was a fat kid, he got picked on a lot. I love Meatloaf. Okay, his story is just he was an underdog, and I love him. And he had an imaginary friend, and he was playing in a tree, and his imaginary friend, dared him to jump out, and so he did jump off the limb of the tree and end up in a body cast. He said he was mainly in a body cast. His mother had to feed him because, the only part of his face that wasn't bandaged, only part of his body that wasn't bandaged up was his face. And she's feeding him soup. And he looks over on the floor and there's a tarantula there and it's pulsating. And next thing you know, it latches on to his face. And I flipped out. I was kind of laughing though, because the man has had a lot of weird stuff happen to him when he was growing up. Not the abuse from his father, but there was a lot of weird stuff. He got his head stuck in the steering wheel. That was another thing. But I did. Meatloaf was an underdog. I absolutely loved the man. Yeah. So, but I learned that after the fact. But when my son's uncles were out in Arizona, I was talking to his Uncle Stuart one day and he was like, I hate rain season. He says, because all the spiders come out. And he goes, I went to go into the broom closet because he was working in a nursing home. And he said he opened up the door, saw the tarantulas, and he backed right out. And I said, this guy's a big guy. I mean, he's built like a freaking wrestler. And I was like, dude, you're scared of a spider? And he goes, no. He goes, I'm scared of spiders. They pulsate and they can freaking leap. And I was like going, okay, I know that some spiders can jump, but I didn't realize they actually have good leaping ability. So yeah, as long as they're over there and I can see them and go in the other direction fast enough that it doesn't jump on me, I'm good. Yeah, it was a rough story. I still have the book. It's like I said, he was an underdog. But I respected what he did. I'm not. He called him Bad Bob. Yeah. Well, like I said, he got picked on a lot, and he didn't have friends. So yeah, he called it his imaginary friend, but we'll see. Yeah, they've and lately, I mean, there was a few years back where there was a bunch of new tarantula species discovered, where one of them was called the Johnny Cash tarantula because it's jet black, which I thought was cool because I still follow all that stuff. I'm very, like I said, I'm very nerdy with this stuff, and I love it. And I love like the people that inspire me to do it. I love the people that still inspire me to do it. And I have to say that when it comes down to it, you know, I have my family. I had, Mr. Seeger, Richard helping me throughout. The biggest inspiration that I have now is actually this family. Okay. Being welcomed in by Richie and Wojo and Sam and all of you, and being able to discuss what I do, being able to give others a voice to discuss it. You have no idea what that means. It's just incredibly, incredibly humbling. I appreciate everybody so much. Hey, Tim, good to see you. And I have so many people that, I can thank and stuff, but it's just this family is just amazingly incredible. Um, and the support that I get, it's like, I there's no words for it, is all I can say. Is I am just completely, and Richie and his message, of researching respectfully, being able to do what you love to do, and we know his story, and how this all came about, with baby Jackson and stuff. But for him to bring this community together, him and Wojo, and then you've got this crew now. It's completely amazing, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it. And I'm so thankful that you guys have welcomed me in. It's beyond you know belief. But but he won't do that. um and yeah, so when I did up the thumbnail and stuff, I had to put the picture of Richie that way because yeah, he literally does. And the one thing that I try to do is, and like when I met Mary, not it was the last week. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. I'm losing track of time. Okay, I'm at work all the time, and like it's insane. But I took the time to go to Windsor to meet Mary when she was in Maine. And Richie was kind of like, oh my gosh, it's like, no, you have to take time for the little stuff. You have to make time because nobody knows how much time they have. And a lot of people don't know this, and you're going to learn this for the first time. I'm very, very, I don't like putting myself out there, but I also don't like making it feel like I'm making, I don't know how to word it right, but I have a condition called trigeminal neuralgia, and it's a nerve condition that starts at the base of my brainstem. 10 years ago, I had shock waves running through my face, and I had to have surgery for it. I actually had to have brain surgery. And because the neurologist, it took a year and a half of going through all this pain, and doctors not telling me what the heck was going on because nobody knew. One doctor just didn't want to take the time to even try. My dentist was the one who figured it out, and I ended up with a new doctor who was able to help get me set up with a different neurologist and stuff. But I had to have the surgery, and what happened was having the shock waves go through my face the way it was. It affected my ability to talk. It affected my ability to eat, to drink. It affected a lot of stuff. I could barely sleep. It is, it's not fun, and it's not. Everybody doesn't have it the same. I mean, I've when I first got it, I looked it up, and I mean, you'd see pictures where it said some people get it where it feels like you've got barbed wire wrapped around your head and somebody's pulling on it. Mine felt like somebody had stuck an electric shock pad on this side of my face. And if you ever look, sometimes when I'm not like smiling or if I'm just kind of sitting still, I have the side of my face droops, and it's because of the trigeminal neuralgia. But towards the end of it, it was like the beginning of Ghostbusters when Bill Murray's doing the little shock test there, and he keeps hitting the button on the guy. Well, it was like that, having that on the side of your face and somebody hitting it, hitting it, hitting it, hitting it, hitting it. And so when I saw the neurologist, he says, "Oh, we can fix this." And he went through the process of telling me the procedure of the surgery he would be doing, and I lost it crying. I flipped out, but I did have the surgery done. I had a relapse 4 years afterwards, but it only lasted a little while. But when I went back after I had the surgery the first time, he did not inform me before the surgery that it was the only time they could do it after that. And it's just a bandage and only lasts so many years. And then the condition comes back, and all they can end up doing is just burning the nerves in the side of my face. So I am right now doing what I love to do and talking as much as I possibly can to people and to get this message out. But it's kind of like, I don't know how long I have. So however long I've got, I'm going to use it to every advantage point I can, because this whole subject is important to me. And being part of this family has really, really been just so good for me. And I'm so thankful. And that's why I said, Richie, Wojo, all of you, you guys are all inspirations to me, because you literally allow me to do what I love to do. No judgments. And you listen to me babble, because that's what I do a lot, is I babble. And like I said, we can get on topic and somebody can say something and then all of a sudden it's squirrel, because I'm just so scatterbrained, and I am not technology savvy at all. But yeah, my mom had fibromyalgia. They gave me a muscle relaxant that was different, because that's what they had to do. They also gave me pain medication, which I refused to take because the dosage was too high, and I don't like taking meds anyways. And the first time I took it, I took a half a pill, and I was so loopy. My doctor got mad at me because she had called me at one point and says, "You need to refill your prescription for your pain meds." And I said, "I ain't taking my pain meds." And she said, "Yeah, well, you have a high tolerance for pain, but that's not even close to it." You had to, no, I've got a scar back here, because it was on the nerve that it was affecting was on the side of my face, but it was a nerve on the base of my brain stem that was actually causing the issue. And when they got in there, he said it's going to be one of two things. He said either it's something's wrapped around it, or he said it's flattened itself out. When they got in there, because it actually takes two neurologists, so there was another neurologist there that I had never met, even before or after the surgery, when it was done. But they said that one was the worst case they'd ever seen, because it literally had a vein wrapped around it and another nerve pressing on it. So it was really difficult, to the point that the surgery took a hell of a lot longer than it was supposed to, because supposedly, I don't remember it, thank God. I started coming out of the anesthesia in the middle of the surgery, so they had to give me more. But because they did that when I came out of anesthesia, I was so sick. I was sick for like 12 hours. It was not good. But like I said, I don't usually say stuff because I don't want people feeling sorry for me. I just want to be able to keep doing what I'm doing, and for as long as I can. And if it comes down to a point where I can't do it anymore, then at least you have an understanding of why and stuff. But yeah, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you guys letting me ramble on about what the show is about tonight, which I just wanted to kind of, and it got depressing at the end, I'm sorry. But I just wanted everybody to know that, life's too short. If you have a chance, I did a video the other day, and I use it because I do like that country song. If you got a chance, take it, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. and I'm chasing my dreams, and I don't plan on stopping until I'm forced to. And like I said, if I can give people a voice, if I can inspire somebody, I'm so I've done what I wanted to do. I'm never going to be rich. I'm never going to be famous. Don't really care about any of that stuff. All I want to do is give people a voice to be able to discuss their sightings, what they've seen, and I want to have the ability to prove that these cats are still out there. Um, that is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it for as long as I can. Hey, Benno, good to see you. Thank you, Rhonda. There's other people. When I mean, there was a couple people that knew that I had it, and it's weird because it's only like, 1 in a million or something like that. It's a large number of people that have it. I actually knew somebody who had a friend that had it, and she was like, "Can you reach out because she can't." She doesn't know what to do and stuff. And I actually walked her through because hers was different than mine. She had it, but hers also was like an optical one, so it screwed with her eyes and stuff. But holy cow. Wow. You keep track of that stuff, BMO? Oh, that's awesome. And by the way there, Mr. Richie B. Okay, my show didn't end at 6:59. I am not in bed snoozing, okay? I'm still talking, although I am gonna end the show. Next week, though, it probably will be a lot longer due to the fact that, it's gonna be a special show. And I hope D Hoot's watching because she was the one that brought up the topic, and then as soon as she did, I go down rabbit holes, and then I got into a lot of rabbit holes that I didn't quite understand, so I had to reach out to Curious. All right, you have a good night. And I will have to check out that YouTube channel. Is that on those videos, Octopus, are they gonna be on YouTube? Well, I appreciate it, BMO, and like I said, I appreciate everybody being here. Make sure Tuesday night that you, tune into Wojo's show, Home of the Boom, with his co-host, Mr. Richie B. And then Friday night will be Sam's Pretty Paranormal at 9 PM. Sam is back. Woohoo! Sam's back. Sam's back. And then Saturday night will be the Big Boss Man, Mr. Richie B, and Banter with Richie B with Wojo as his co-host. And then next Sunday, I will be back. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's going to be at 6 or if it will be a special time. I will make sure to let everybody know, try to give everybody advance notice, but it will be me. And yeah, they'll be here soon, probably on a new channel. Okay, cool. Just let us know so we can check them out. Okay, Octopus. And I am so excited to have Curious helping with a show next week. So it's going to be a nice little collaboration, and I really, really appreciate her doing that. So remember, when it comes to research and life in general, sometimes you just got to say, what the hell? Good night, guys. Bye.